The Las Vegas Filipino Resource Guide is a vital tool and a helpful media outlet for business enterprises to connect and to reach out to Filipino American consumers. For more information, go to www.lasvegasfrg.com or you can email at lasvegasfrg@gmail.com.
Just like a friend from back home.
This is your Filipino radio experience in Las Vegas. PHLV Radio.
PHLV Radio.
It's the ultimate guide to anything Filipino in Las Vegas. This is the Las Vegas Filipino Resource Guide Radio Show on PHLV Radio.
Hello everybody, magandang gabi sa iyong lahat. Welcome back to another episode of the Las Vegas Filipino Resource Guide here at PHLV Radio. I am your host, Sarah Mel Paglinawan. For those who are our avid listeners, thank you for coming back always. And for those who are new, you can watch us live every Thursday at 6 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and on Amazon Fire TV. You can also listen to us and download the PHLV Radio app or get our podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. It's so weird because it's a night show, so I say good evening, but here in Vegas it's so bright outside it feels like it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So wherever you're listening, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. If you missed last week's episode, we kind of introduced a very fun and exciting brand new project here that's happening here in Las Vegas. It is called Bahay Buko. Use your coconut, sorry. It is the first Filipino Food Month, which is happening here in Las Vegas, which is really strange because you would think something like a food event would already be happening in Las Vegas, but it hasn't. So yeah, this is kind of a fun new project that we hope to continue on as the years to come. So to continue on with our Bahay Buko guests, this week we have Tita Olive Enriquez and my bestie, Walbert Castillo. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us. Tita Olive, this is your first time. I just found out.
Yes, it is, yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel?
Oh,
A little nervous?
Tongue-tied. Oh.
Tongue-tied?
No, it's okay. We have to get used to this.
Yeah. Walbert's already in the limelight, so he's kind of used to this, huh?
A few times here and there. But it's good to be back.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Go ahead, introduce yourself and your role here with Bahay Buko.
Okay, my name is Olive Enriquez, and I happen to be the creative director of the Filipino American Chamber of Commerce of Greater Nevada, and we also call it the Creative Chamber. And one of the things that I'm the longest running officer here. I've served for 12 years. Wow. And I would actually trace the origin of this idea of holding the food month in 2012 when I was a young member. Young member. And the first president of the chamber, Robert Henry, and I would talk about it.
Okay.
Because we felt that the Filipino, food industry here hasn't really reach a level that we wanted.
Right.
And so we kept talking about it, but it was hard to, have these people agree to a project like that because, I think the season hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
So in 2018, I read the first movement happening in San Francisco, and then I was kind of jealous because I would always talk about it in every chamber event. We're going to have the Filipino Food Month. And I was talking about it repeatedly, like nobody would believe me anymore because it kept mounting.
Right.
But it's like something that I pursued with a kind of focus, a dogged determination to get it done. Mm-hmm. So the chance came when I was always posting about my work and my work with food. Tita Pearl reached out to me, and she wasn't even my friend on Facebook.
Yeah.
And then we started to talk about it. And finally, I think in Walbert's Binondo, the first one, I posted about it. We had this, we were having dinner, and I posted about one of the things we talked about was the Filipino Food Month.
Right.
And I saw a lot of, it got a lot of likes. And Tita Pearl reacted to it and said, "Oh, okay, let's do it."
Yeah.
And then, now we are here. And we're so happy to have Walbert and Magnolia on board, two amazing people to work with. And I am excited because it's a first, and it's been a dream project for me,
For you to
especially.
work on,
and the
Well, it's
chamber.
really crazy because just like I was telling Tito Joel last time, I can't believe Vegas doesn't have something like this. The city that we are in should have a food movement, and especially with the amount of growing Filipinos that move here or live here, the fact that this is the first time, it's going to be a really exciting event, right?
Yeah.
100%.
Walbert,
Yeah.
do you want to introduce yourself and a little bit about what you do for Bahay Buko?
Sure thing. So thank you so much for having me. And I got to say, it's great seeing the work that you do, seeing all of us together working collaboratively. My name is Walbert. I am creative director at Amazon, but with my full-time side hustle, it's Historia. So full-time role and full-time side hustle. But
That's a second job,
the
basically.
second job, basically. I'm the founder, owner of Historia, but then I also serve on the Filipino American Chamber of Commerce of Greater Nevada as the director of special events and projects. And so, within my role, I'm working to amplify the work that we're doing through Historia, but also through my efforts in being a part of the chamber. So
Awesome.
Really, it's focused on telling everyone's Historia through the work that we do. So you're going to see over the course of this month content that will be created by our team to really amplify the voices of our community, specifically small businesses, restaurants here in Vegas.
Yeah. How exciting. We have a great team, don't we?
Oh, yes. This is really something. I can't imagine what the 29th, the finale will be, because we have about 16 participating restaurants and chefs.
Chefs, yeah.
I had a chance to preview some of the
the dishes?
The tasting menu. I can't
my
believe that
gosh.
this is going to be some kind of a competition on the tasting menu, but it's good. Well, one of the things that is we're imagining to happen here is because doing this project has also sparked interest in the other aspects of hosting an event. For example, we have 2 members in our chamber who can sing, or singers.
Oh, right.
And
Yes,
they're
yes.
going to do a special number on Bahay Buko. Okay, so I have to say it right because it's like a tongue twister.
I know. So you want to say Bahay Kubo,
Yeah.
but it's Bahay Buko.
Bahay Buko. It is exciting.
It's a really fun name too.
Yeah.
I
How
mean,
did you
it's
come
a
up
play
with
on
that?
words. So it actually stemmed from one of our specialty cocktails at Historia.
At Historia, okay.
And so knowing that, actually that was at the first pop-up dinner at La Rea, the first one which we ever organized in the community.
Yeah.
And so one of the specialty cocktails that we had served was named after that. It was just a play on words. But as we start to see the progression of all these ideas happening back and forth with this event,
Food movement, yeah.
I was thinking, wouldn't it be a fun play on words to be unique? I know
Right.
Filipino food movement is really pushing for that uniqueness, that ingredient for all of our metropolitan areas
Yes.
that are celebrating this month-long event. But for us, it's special. We should be uniquely positioned in a way where it is home, Bahay Buko, right?
Bahay Buko, yeah.
Bahay Kubo, if anything. And for us, that's here in Vegas.
Yeah.
So we really wanted to make that special, and I'm glad that we all came to the consensus that was the name that
gonna
we
be the way to
could go
name it.
for.
Yeah. And then the fact that we use your coconut is kind of a creative way, because we use our brains to
Yeah.
use
create
your
all of this
coconut.
stuff,
Yeah.
right? That's so awesome.
Yeah. We should play the coconut song too.
The coconut song.
We were talking to last episode about how CMC, if we could find a way to create a barong or something with coconut in it. I don't know if we have time to do that, but that would be awesome. Or maybe for another event,
That'd
right?
be amazing. Sort of the different shades.
Yeah.
As I was working on some of the graphics in conjunction with Olive, it was just seeing the brown, the green, the white,
Yeah.
all of that is embodying just the coconut overall. And so you sort of see that in the graphical makeup
Yeah,
and the
yes,
content
yes,
creation.
And the
Yeah.
flyers and everything.
But also that in itself is being a key ingredient that we're seeing in
Yes,
a lot of these
exactly.
dishes.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
You know, one of the things that is particularly very notable about this, I think everybody is naming the event in some other way, but Bahay Buko is actually unique. In
Yeah.
fact, I learned from the people in San Francisco, the Filipino food movement, that when they announced that there is a Las Vegas event, people just cheered and were excited
Oh,
about
that's so
it.
good, yeah.
And some people are flying in
Wow.
just
Oh
to
wow!
be at
I
the
was,
Yeah.
I was gonna
finale.
ask that
So-
question. Yeah.
yeah, so you know, it's really something that we thought we'd start small,
Right.
but it's bigger than it's bigger now.
Right. Right.
With so much interest.
And I think there's a lot of alignment with how the Las Vegas community, especially the Filipino
The
community
Filipino
here, is
community
growing.
here, yeah.
I
Yeah.
think we've always, well, from what I've experienced and observed, of course, 53% of the AAPI population is Filipino.
It's Filipino. Yeah.
And so we've seen the numbers, and Filipinos started immigrating here in the 80s and the 90s. But for some reason,
Yeah.
I think just in this,
this past year.
post-pandemic too,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
I'm starting to sort of see just the come up,
Yeah. I
and
agree.
it's recognizable
Yeah.
not only in our small businesses, which the chamber also is in alignment with, but also the culinary movement here.
Right.
We're seeing a mixed bag, really, of not just the carinderia,
Right.
right?
Right.
But we're also seeing sort of the traditional and the modern and,
And the modern
mixing.
mix. Yeah. Fusion kind of blend to keep preserve right our traditional cultures, but also kind of keep it growing and keep it up to trends with
Of course,
modern
yeah.
times, right?
And
Yeah.
that's actually the reason why Filipino Food Month, or one of them, was created. The proclamation to preserve our culinary heritage,
culinary heritage,
but
yeah.
also to honor the fishers
Yeah,
and the farmers.
farmers,
the growers.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then to kind of talk about food and culinary, you both have a background in food and culinary,
Yes.
or you want to
Well-
go first, Tita?
Well, okay. In my background, I am a graphic designer specialized in packaging,
okay.
and in the Philippines, I would work with a lot of major food exporting companies. So I was working on the traditional products, doing packaging for nata de coco and all of
Oh,
that.
yeah.
So
Oh, that's cool.
along that line, there was this move by the Philippine government, because I work with a design center, and to push for Filipino ingredients to make it to the U.S.
to here.
market.
Yes.
So
yeah.
and then because I work with food packaging, I work with chefs and food stylists. So, and I really like to cook. If there's,
Okay.
I will always experiment on anything that, I get free samples most
Right.
of the time. So I would cook. And I thought that when we moved here, I was thinking how to transition myself,
Right.
because it's a new territory. But I thought I found my home here at the chamber, and then pursue. I was also talking about the food industry, because I realized that there's so many food businesses that are sprouting
that are
here.
Yes, there are.
And the perfect opportunity. For example, knowing that some of the restaurants may not serve Filipino food, but they are
it's
Filipino owned.
yeah.
So there's a
or the
whole-
chef is Filipino,
yeah,
right?
or there's
yeah.
a whole spectrum of them.
Yeah.
And Walbert will be able to talk more, because he's been exploring all of these new venues that
Right,
are,
right.
So many of them.
So
Yeah.
you don't have a background in food.
I did work as a
Okay.
server at a Filipino restaurant in Washington, D.C.
Oh, okay.
But
okay.
other than that, I don't really come from a culinary background, not as extensive as the work, Tita Olive
Tita
here
Olive
does.
yeah.
But I do have that background with storytelling, and I'm thankful that I've been able to bridge that passion for storytelling through just everything I do for the community.
Yeah, that's
And
awesome.
so, yeah, that's really trickled into a few of the things that I do. But, I'm learning left and right from all of my peers, my team, to be able to understand that. I think as a Filipino American, or just as a Filipino overall, we're surrounded by so much great food.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I guess for me, how do I take that love that I have for Filipino food? Also, my mom is such a talented cook, and so learning from her and like learning the palate. I know I can't cook as well as her,
I
or
love her
as
cakes.
well
Her
as Chef
cakes are
Kat.
delicious.
But yeah, no, it's definitely learning from a lot of the people that are close to me in my life, and you know, it's how can I empower and activate them in their work.
And their work, yeah.
And so yeah, that's what his story has been all
Pretty
about.
that's
and so
awesome.
I'm glad I can link that over.
And now we can kind of
to
culminate
this.
that all together with our food
Yeah.
movement here. I know we're introducing, you know, established chefs, right? Established restaurants, but also new ones.
Yeah. So
or
an
small
example
businesses. Yeah, go ahead.
of that one is Winnie and Ethel's.
Okay.
As
yes.
Olive had mentioned,
Yeah.
Winnie and Ethel's is they don't serve Filipino
Filipino-owned.
food, but they are Filipino owned.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so just an example like that, and I'm sure there are others as well.
Oh yeah, for example, Chef Rudy.
Oh, yes.
And,
Yeah.
Il Chianti Italian, Italian restaurant, but it's so Filipino. You know, the other day we were at his place and he served adobo,
Oh, okay.
and then
Oh, my
there was
favorite.
a coconut-based
Oh,
chicken dish. It was so good.
Oh, wow.
Man.
Some
I
of
think
the-
truffles and bacon is
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Are you able to name some of the chefs that will be at, or the
Oh.
restaurants that will be at,
Yeah, some of
participating?
we have Noy Pete's.
Okay.
Noy Pete's,
Noy
and
Pete's,
we
yeah.
have Mang Felix. We have to look at our phones. There's a
We
lot.
have
What's really
C3
funny-
Seafood Bar and
C3.
Grill.
Okay.
Then you said Noy Pits already.
Noy Pits.
Max's Restaurant.
Max's,
Oh, Max
yeah.
is very famous. Yeah.
Manila Barbecue and Seafood Grill in Henderson.
Yeah.
Full House Barbecue, of course, with Chef Alex.
Okay.
Cafe 86, where I
Oh,
bumped
Cafe
into Steve
86.
Aoki.
I saw that picture.
That was,
You invited him
I
over.
invited him over. Bye, Buko. Please come and support our movement.
Yeah.
And then Blooming Buns Bakehouse.
Yes,
Okay.
Blooming Buns, yeah.
And then
We
the
have
Suzuya. now?
Suzuya and
Patisserie?
Q Plus.
Suzuya is Filipino owned?
Arthur de Hoya.
I
Yes.
did not know that.
Well,
Oh, Kuya Art
Kuya
owns
Art.
that? I did not know.
and then
Just
who
recently.
else did we miss?
So most of the chefs or restaurants that will be participating, do they have a physical place, or are they mostly like
There is one establishment on the list that doesn't have a physical place.
Okay.
Calisa Sorbetes.
Okay, yeah. Ice
They
cream, yeah.
they do pop-ups. They did a recent pop-up at Truffles and Bacon.
Okay. Kind of like Astoria does pop-ups too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so this time around, Astoria will not be participating in the lineup just because we're still reacclimating and getting ready for the next
For the
chapter.
next chapter.
But I think it's a really great period for us to help others and just like amplify their platform in the community. So
Yeah.
we're going to be doing as much as we can to really highlight and bring this
support, yeah.
experience to the community. Of
Wow,
course.
how exciting. Tita Olive, I did want to ask this question because, the Las Vegas Filipino Resource Guide is a way for business owners and professionals to connect with the community and learn about what it's like to own a business, right? So when you were working on Vegas Fab, did you find any similarities or differences when it comes to doing something that's focusing solely on one, category like food?
Well, Vegas Fab was initiated to provide a platform for Filipino businesses, but
Right.
they're in different spectrums and categories of businesses. But the Filipino Food Month is very focused on food.
Yeah.
And wherever it is, whatever you say, food is still the number one draw for any business.
Yeah.
Name it, if you say a Filipino meeting, event, there's
There's
got to be
always food.
food. Yeah.
Food is our
It's
love
kind
language.
of weird if there's not food, right?
Yeah.
So there's always something
Yeah.
to bring us together,
That's
and
so
that's
true.
food.
Yeah.
Get a
and-
tray of lumpia even. Just
Yeah, lumpia. And normally I would talk to my non-Filipino friends and, when you say, Filipino, of course I love pancit and adobo.
And adobo,
but
yeah.
there are more than that.
Yeah.
And you will, and I'm seeing right now how this whole preparation for the finale is shaping
coming
up.
together,
This is
yeah.
going to be not just a food event, but something for the eyes.
Yeah.
Just eye candy.
Yeah, it's
The,
not just food.
the way the food is being plated and presented.
Of course,
Yeah.
the culinary innovation with the use of the coconut will be really exciting.
Really exciting, yeah.
And I think in a way you'll sort of see each of the chefs in the restaurants provide their own flair.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah,
It's
their little
exactly.
twist on
yeah,
a
and
dish.
it's interesting because it's specific to this month. They're creating new dishes with the ingredient coconut.
Right.
And some will create 2, some will create 3, some will create 1. And that's what you can expect from Filipino Restaurant Week that we're going to have here. It's how can you have breakfast, lunch, and dinner at all these restaurants and have
and have
the
coconut
dishes,
in it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Do
you
you?
know,
Oh, go ahead.
we have a program with the Filipino food movement. We're encouraging people to go to the participating restaurants, and they
Yeah, go
will
ahead.
actually scan a QR code that as a proof that they visited the
Visited.
restaurants, way of monitoring attendance, and also gives them a chance to win a free plane ticket to was that round trip ticket?
Round trip ticket to the
Round trip
Philippines.
Free hotel. I didn't know about that. Anyway, so
Free
that's
board and lodge.
Free board and lodging. And, imagine that in the scenario that's going to happen in the finale, you have about 16 different
Different
tables. Yeah. So for the $50 that you pay for the event,
That's not
it's
bad.
a lot of food.
Yeah.
It
And
is.
that's our kickoff event is Monday, right? This Monday,
Monday.
at Truffles and Bacon.
From 8 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Okay, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. And then that week long. Go ahead, talk about that. 20 to 28.
Yeah, 20 to 28th. And then that will be Filipino Restaurant Week, where you can scan the QR code. You can let the Filipino food movement know that you've checked in.
Okay.
And you'll be entered in that raffle.
Yes.
And then the 29th will sort of be that closing
Finale.
ceremony, the finale, the social.
Yeah.
And so the social will be at the assembly at the Uncommons.
The Uncommons.
And that's so exciting because that space is also
Near and dear to
celebrating
us.
our leader in the community, the trailblazer that is Manang Rosita.
Yes, yeah.
And so I'm bummed I'm missing it, but
Oh, you'll be in the Philippines.
I'll be in the Philippines
Yeah.
doing my own culinary journey. But with that being said, this month we'll have just so many opportunities for you to chow down and eat as much
food.
great food
And new
here
dishes.
as well.
And that 20 to 28, they just visit those restaurants, right?
They can
Yeah.
visit the participating
For
restaurants and
participating restaurants.
yeah,
Okay.
with the first event as well as the social.
The last one.
You can RSVP on Eventbrite.
Okay.
The April 15th event, you would have to pre-order and pre-select
ticket.
your items prior to coming in. It's
Okay.
kind of similar to what Astoria does,
Astoria
right?
does, yeah.
And so on the 29th, that's sort of a ticket sort of basis where you pay $50 for all of the dishes and
How exciting.
the experience itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have one final question. Filipino food is something that some people feel is not well known, except for, our 3 main dishes, like you had said. Do you feel like this event will kind of push this out to different cultures out there and hopefully get some recognition?
Yeah. That's the intention.
Yeah.
In fact, one thing we realized that when we were doing CES, we were looking for a Filipino restaurant nearby.
Okay, yeah.
So we ended up in a pizza place. But would it be something that we could, CES, the biggest trade show in Las Vegas, and then we have a Philippine delegation.
Yeah.
They have something to a place to go to, and where they can invite their buyers and special guests to feast on Filipino food.
Filipino food, yeah.
Yeah,
What
that's a very small component, but in a trade show event, Filipino food has to have a representation.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Walbert?
I think many of these restaurants will already have the opportunity of having a wide variety of different audiences that come to their restaurant, right? And
Yeah.
so just imagine the amalgamation of all of these
Of the
restaurants
need.
combined and letting all of their patrons know that this is happening.
Right.
It's really us coming together Certain restaurants have their own audiences, but it's really the mixing that I'm really
That
excited
you're
about.
excited to bring.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
some of these restaurants, like Winnie and Ethel's, for example, you see a lot of non-Filipinos actually
That
at
are
that
there,
restaurant.
yeah.
And so, like, when you sort of inject and you interweave this coconut-based dish that's special to that week,
Yeah.
they start to ask, how can I have more? How can I
Yeah.
learn more? All the things. So I think this is really setting the stage for a conversation to happen.
To happen, yeah. To
And
start.
through these restaurants, we can uplift our community indirectly and directly.
Wow.
And we also, let's not forget that coconut also has drinks. For example, talk about lambanog.
Yeah.
Mm.
The
Yes,
very
yes,
heavy
yeah.
lambanog, and an assortment of other. That when you say, somebody asked me, how do I do coconut for my restaurant?
For the dish,
Oh,
yeah.
you know what? There's coconut vinegar. Okay.
That's what Tita Magnolia was saying.
And I think you mentioned something earlier in the interview that that really spoke to me, was that you'll see foods beyond your typical
Yes.
pancit,
Pancit
adobo,
and yeah.
etc.
Or like buko juice and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're
yeah.
gonna see like that, but also a fusion of other different ingredients and drinks that people might not know about.
Wow. Yeah.
And healthy foods as well. I
Oh,
feel like
yes.
Right.
Yeah.
coconut can really be
There's a
an
lot of
outlier as
benefits.
far as the ingredient that you use for like non-fried
Oh yes, non-fried.
non-fried dishes.
Non-fried dishes.
Non-fried
that
dishes, yeah.
or non-fatty dishes.
Yeah.
Really.
like ceviches and all that.
Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think what I'm most excited about, like you said, is the recognition that people will get to try more of our Filipino food that they don't know of, or that they're not aware of, aside from the lumpia and stuff like that. And it will kind of bring us in a different light to the community, because
Yes.
there's more to us than just
Yeah.
egg rolls and noodles.
Yes.
And we also envision this to be a catalyst for
Yeah.
restaurants
For restaurants.
who have already started to enhance, elevate
Yeah.
the way
absolutely.
they present the food, their menu standards. Because the goal of the chamber is actually to be able to introduce programs for food companies and for food businesses to do workshops and seminars
Oh,
for
that's
food
cool.
compliance,
Yeah.
good manufacturing practices and all that.
Processes and stuff.
So
yeah.
we don't have this situation where, we're certified,
Yeah.
we're compliant.
Yeah.
So that's the business component.
So that'll
of-
be the business side
yeah,
of things.
so,
yeah.
And the
Wow.
chamber is going to do that.
It's like this is the month they have to celebrate, but then in between there's still progress that's happening with
Behind
the
the
chamber
scenes, yeah.
to make sure that there's upkeep
Yeah.
and visibility for the rest of the year.
And for years to come, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any final words before we close out
I
today's?
give the floor to Walbert.
I think this is just an exciting time for our Las Vegas community.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's always been there, but I feel like there's momentum. It's growing.
That it's finally.
The Filipino culinary scene is core to a lot of the things that we're now seeing, and with this event, I'm excited to be able to amplify the stories, the voices of these restaurants, and really let it be
community.
known that this is us. This is who we are.
is who we are,
This is
yeah.
what we're proud of.
Yep.
And I think it's right that the Filipino Chamber is really pushing this, really
yeah.
uplifting the small businesses.
Wow, so beautiful. I'm proud to be part of this community because of stuff that we're doing like this. It's just it's life-changing for us as being Filipinos, right? Tita Olive, anything else?
Well, I just, while he's talking, I'm just saying, how are you able to do this, or how are you going to wing this?
Yeah.
Oh, we just use our coconut.
That's our final
Yeah.
line of the show.
Yeah.
Use your coconut, everyone.
Use your coconut, everyone. Yeah.
So
love it.
yes, that's pretty much it. But again, we want to invite you all to Bahay Buko. The first kickoff event will be April 15th. Register on Eventbrite, right? And then participating restaurants will be April 20th to the 28th. And then the most important is our finale, April 29th at the Uncommons at the Assembly, right? And
That's
that
right.
is from 6 to 10 p.m. You also need to register for that event as well. I really, really hope to see you all there. Thank you all for tuning in to today's episode. Thank you to Tita Olive and Walbert for joining us. And again, you can watch us live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram every Thursday at 6 p.m. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Salamat.
Salamat.